She has gotten significantly bigger. Stephanie White has confirmed it. Stephanie White has gone out here and confirmed that Caitlin Clark has been bulking up. Like, that she's bulked up as a player and that she's no longer, like, skinny and weak.
Caitlin Clark just sent shockwaves through the WNBA. And no, it's not just because of her insane shooting range. She's been grinding in the gym, transforming her body, and now she looks stronger, more explosive, and ready to dominate like never before. And guess who's looking real foolish right about now? That's right, Geno Auriemma. Remember when he smugly suggested she wouldn't be able to handle the WNBA's physicality? Yeah, about that.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
So how did this happen? And more importantly, what does it mean for the league? Let's break it all down. How Clark went from taking cheap shots to becoming an absolute force, and why defenders across the WNBA are suddenly very, very nervous.
All right, guys, we're starting a little TikTok weight room vlog. We're going to show you what we do.
Get the butt down.
Okay, speed. Okay, speed.
Wait, good for it.
Oh, she is strong. All right, guys, that's our lift. We are strong. Okay, we're actually strong. What?
Let's rewind to Clark's rookie season. She was phenomenal, no doubt. But let's be honest, she took a beating. Defenders saw the new superstar on the block and decided they weren't going to let her waltz into the league without a welcome committee. And by welcome committee, I mean getting shoved, tripped, elbowed, and body checked at every possible opportunity.
I feel like I'm getting hammered.
You saw it. Dejanay Carrington, Kennedy Carter, and Angel Reese were out there treating her like a crash test dummy, thinking they could rattle her with constant physicality.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Their game plan? Make Clark miserable. They figured she was too skinny, too inexperienced, and that the WNBA's physicality would break her down. And for a second, even some analysts started wondering, would she be able to withstand it? Would she become just another college star who couldn't handle the jump to the pros? Spoiler alert, Caitlin Clark isn't built like the rest.
I gotta ask you a basketball question. Yeah. I know that you work really hard in the off-season. You said yesterday you're always trying to get better. Mm-hmm. What's the thing that you're working on in this off-season?
I think, honestly, besides the actual basketball skill part of it, I think getting stronger, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm in the weight room a lot, just building that strength. Obviously, it was hard going right from the college season to the professional season. You don't get to spend a lot of time in the weight room, so that's what I've tried to focus on the most here. And then obviously, a lot of things on the court. I'm always wanting to get better, and that's kind of what drives me, and I love it. I love getting to do it, and I feel very fortunate that it's my job.
Clark didn't just take those hits. She took notes. She saw exactly how defenders were trying to break her, and instead of backing down, she did what all the greats do. She adapted. This offseason, she didn't just train. She went to war in the weight room. The days of her getting bullied? Over. The days of defenders thinking they can throw her off with a cheap shove? Done.
Like, every time you're seeing Caitlin Clark out, it's like, okay, she's not as skinny as she was. And this is someone who, like, that's something that she really needs to, that's something she really needs to do.
Now, she's built like a tank. Her coach, Stephanie White, has already pointed out the transformation. Clark isn't just stronger, she's faster, more durable, and even tougher than before. And let's be real, if she was already putting up 30 pieces while getting knocked to the floor, what do you think she's about to do now?
Is like, one, is Caitlin Clark stronger, or do you expect her to get stronger? And two, like, what's realistic, like, in terms of from a great first year to now second year in the league where, you know, it's not as new anymore, right? And you sort of know how the league plays, if nothing else.
Yes, she is stronger, first and foremost. And again, she's got a lot of self-awareness. And, she figured that out, right away. Like, I need to get stronger. I can't get knocked around as much.
Her arms, looking like they could swat defenders off like flies. Her core strength, unshakable. Her ability to absorb contact, completely different. Clark didn't just add muscle. She rebuilt herself into an even scarier version of what she already was. And the WNBA? Oh, they are not ready for this.
Not that she was like too weak to be in the W, but like she was too weak to be like an imposing presence in the W like she was in college, because she could be physically dominated. And then obviously we have seen throughout the offseason, we have seen like some of the transformation.
For months, players tried to make Clark's life miserable. They fouled her, knocked her down, and even had the nerve to trash talk her afterward like they actually stopped her. She was already lighting them up while taking all that punishment. Now, they have to deal with a stronger, faster, and even more locked-in Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark just dropped her daily off-season workout, and it's absolute.
This is why the WNBA was in big trouble.
Geno Auriemma once questioned if she could handle the WNBA's physicality. Well, Geno, what's your excuse now? Because Clark just turned into a monster, and the league is about to feel every bit of it.
Geno, baby, if Caitlin Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team. Because Caitlin Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team. It's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster.
Caitlin Clark just flipped the script on the entire WNBA. Last season, defenders thought they could push her around, rough her up, and knock her off her game. But this time, she's the one delivering the contact. She's not getting shoved off her spots anymore. She's creating her own space. She's not just a perimeter sniper. She's taking defenders into the paint, bodying them up, and forcing them to respect every inch of the court. And the best part? They have absolutely no answer for it.
I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I feel like there's just so many areas that I want to improve in and to continue to get in the gym and work on that every single day.
Clark was already one of the most dangerous offensive threats in the league. But now, she's got a post-up game. Imagine this, Caitlin Clark backing down a defender, using her new strength to muscle them under the basket before either scoring with ease or kicking it out to an open shooter. This isn't just an adjustment, it's a full-blown nightmare for every team in the league. Because now, there is officially no way to stop her.
Somebody said the league is not ready for Caitlin. 3.0 MVP is hers. Yes, go. Fever admin, I love you. Caitlin put some weight on, bro. She definitely got in the weight room. And like, I don't think Caitlin put weight on. I think Caitlin put a lot of muscle on. I think that's what the biggest difference is that we're seeing out of Caitlin. You know, going into this upcoming season, I think Caitlin put a bunch of muscle on, and it shows. It shows within her, you know, her body frame. It shows that her arms is bigger and her thighs is way wider. She definitely put some muscle on.
That's why the entire WNBA is on high alert. Clark isn't just returning for another season, she's coming back as a completely different beast. And those defenders who thought they had her figured out? Yeah, they're about to get humbled in a hurry.
So Caitlin Clark in college was not the strongest player in the world. Like, she was somebody that wasn't weak by any means, but we saw when it came to the WNBA that she was kind of, she wasn't able to really assert herself physically.
But this isn't just about dominating the next season. It's about solidifying her place as a generational force in the WNBA for years to come. This isn't some minor off-season tune-up. This is the kind of transformation that separates great players from legends. And let's be real, Caitlin Clark is playing the long game. Now, the real question, can Clark put all that newfound strength to use in a game setting? The answer? Absolutely.
Done a great job of getting in the weight room and really focusing on her areas that she needs to focus on in terms of strength, in terms of, low center of gravity, time under tension, like all of those things. I think the next step is efficiency, right? Like not so many turnovers.
She hasn't just bulked up, she's evolved her entire game. The Caitlin Clark that defenders faced last season? She's gone. In her place is a player who's added an entirely new layer to her offensive arsenal, one that's going to make WNBA defenders rethink everything they thought they knew about guarding her. Think about her game last year. Speed, elite shooting, and jaw-dropping passing defined her playstyle. That hasn't changed. But now, she's added power moves that are going to make her completely unguardable. Those smaller defenders who used to try and body her up? Yeah, They're about to learn the hard way that she's not the same player anymore.
I genuinely think that Caitlin Clark had quite a lot of flaws, but so is still, even with flaws, she was that good that if she can figure out those flaws, she's going to be the best player ever. And that's the reality of the situation. And one of them was that she was very skinny.
Clark has been relentlessly working on her post-up game, and it's already paying off. She's backing defenders down with ease, holding her ground against contact, and turning for effortless finishes. Picture Clark posting up, taking a bump, and draining fadeaways like a seasoned all-star. That's a whole new threat added to her game, and defenders have no idea how to handle it.
Stephanie White knows what she's talking about, and confirming Caitlin Clark is stronger is going to help a lot, because we saw after Olympic break when Caitlin Clark got stronger that she was posting up guards. Like, she doesn't have very many post moves, but that bang, double bang with her left shoulder into the turnaround layup floater thingies off the backboard, it worked really well. And like, we saw her taking some bigger guards in the post.
And it doesn't stop there. Clark's driving ability has taken a massive leap too. Last season, defenders could bump her off balance on the way to the rim. Now, she's initiating the contact, absorbing the hit, and finishing strong at the basket. Those tough layups that used to rim out, they're dropping now.
She's able to play a little bit in the post and able to shoot over people that it becomes really difficult to put, for example, to put somebody like a Jordan Canada on her.
This isn't just a player getting stronger. This is a player rewriting the way she plays, making sure that no defender in the league can exploit a weakness. The league thought they could wear her down last year. They thought physicality was the answer. But now, Clark is built for the battle, and the WNBA, they have no idea what's coming. Caitlin Clark's evolution isn't just about scoring. Her newfound strength is unlocking a whole new level of playmaking. She's holding off defenders longer, keeping her dribble tight under pressure, and carving out passing lanes that didn't exist before. Imagine this. Clark gets trapped by two defenders, but instead of getting flustered or stripped, she muscles through the pressure and fires a perfect dime to a wide-open teammate. She was already an elite passer, but this added physicality is making her vision even deadlier.
So she's going to have that in her arsenal, and it's going to make her harder to defend. It's going to make her way, way harder to defend because, if you can't bully her, it means that the Dejanay hand check through three-quarter court isn't going to be allowed.
And if you're wondering just how big of a difference this makes, listen to what the experts are saying. Some believe Clark's improved strength could help her average a double-double in points and assists this season. Let that sink in. A double-double every game. That's not just great, that's Hall of Fame level impact. But here's what really separates Clark from the rest. She's not stopping at just one area of improvement. She's refining every aspect of her game, ensuring that no defender can take anything away from her. Remember that workout video that blew up? 2 million views in just 24 hours on Twitter. And it wasn't just Clark showing off in an empty gym. It was a blueprint for complete domination.
If you guys saw this workout has gotten a lot of people excited for Caitlin Clark because she is like directly working on her weaknesses, which I think is a good look, honestly. I think that's a really, really good look for her because, again, when we're seeing somebody working on their weaknesses and not the glamorous weaknesses.
That video revealed 3 key areas Clark is laser focused on. First, ball handling under extreme pressure. Let's be real, Clark's handles are already elite, but she did lead the league in turnovers last season. A big part of that? Her teammates simply weren't ready for the otherworldly passes she was dishing out. But another factor was the insane ball pressure she faced every night. Double and triple teams, relentless defenders swarming her. Instead of letting that slow her down, she's attacking it head-on, working on tighter control and quicker decision-making. Next, her mid-range game. This is massive. We all know about Clark's logo range threes and her insane ability to finish at the rim. She shot a ridiculous 62% from less than 5 feet last season. But the one area opponents tried to force her into, that mid-range dead zone. By perfecting her floater and pull-up jumper, she's eliminating the last weakness in her scoring arsenal. Now, there's officially no safe spot to force her to. And finally, finishing through contact. Clark's never been afraid to attack the basket, but in the WNBA, that means taking some serious hits, whether legal or not. The solution? She's simulating game-like conditions, taking those bumps in practice and getting stronger so she can power through defenders instead of absorbing unnecessary punishment. And let's be real, look at her arms.
She's back in her natural habitat, back in the lab, playing basketball, and it's got to be a scary sight for the rest of the WNBA if she gets even better, because it's not as if she wasn't absolutely phenomenally elite as a rookie and arguably the best player in the league after the Olympic break.
She's not just improving, she's completely transforming into the most complete offensive player in the WNBA. And here's the scariest part. She's only in her second season. If she's making these kinds of leaps now, what is she going to look like in a few years? We might not just be watching a great player. We could be witnessing the rise of one of the most dominant players in WNBA history.
They're working on a lot of finishes in this video, a lot of finishes at the rim, and maybe some different finishes that we didn't see from her in the 2024 season. Now, Coach KP told me that one of his goals for Caitlin was just to expand her bag. So no matter what defense is thrown at her, she has something for it.
For defenders who thought last season was tough, you have no idea what's coming. Caitlin Clark is stronger, more skilled, and playing on an entirely different level. But just how worried should the rest of the league be? Let's put it this way. Opposing coaches aren't just concerned, they're losing sleep over this version of Clark. And this isn't just internet hype. Experts are already predicting that she could be the second favorite for MVP in just her second season.
With Caitlin Clark, that's a really, really important thing. You can do it gradually. And I don't think she bulked up like a crazy amount. Like, she's not going to be physically destroying people. I just don't think she's going to quite get bullied as much as she did.
Caitlin Clark's transformation isn't just impressive, it's a game changer. She was already a scoring machine, but now she's added a level of physicality that makes her practically unstoppable. It's like taking a Formula One car and strapping a jet engine onto it. Defenders who used to push her around? Yeah, those days are done. Now, she's the one setting the tone, making defenders rethink their entire approach. Remember how teams used to bully Clark on the court? They'd shove her, throw cheap shots, and act like she couldn't handle the WNBA's physicality. Well, guess what? That strategy just became obsolete. Clark isn't just absorbing contact anymore, she's dishing it out. And teams are quickly realizing that they can't just body her up and expect to slow her down.
Like, there was a couple of times you could see her arms, you're like, okay, she's gotten a lot bigger. And I do like the fact that she, by the end of the season, she was taking people in the post a little bit more. And that's the one thing I like with Caitlin Clark, is that not that she's got good post footwork, but she's got a good ability to kind of like bump with her left shoulder and then shoot over her right. That kind of layup hook shot.
But here's where things get really wild. Her new strength isn't just making her a bigger problem on offense, it's turning her into a legitimate defensive force too. She's fighting through screens. She's holding her own against bigger players. She's no longer the defensive liability teams once targeted. Remember when opponents used to hunt Clark on defense? Good luck with that now. She's stronger, quicker, and more disciplined. She's no longer a player you can exploit. She's becoming a two-way threat.
I think it's an inevitability that Caitlin Clark is the first player to ever average a double-double in the WNBA with points and assists. I think she's going to likely set the record for assists per game in a season at some stage in her career.
And if you're wondering whether she'll dominate right away, let me throw this at you. Some analysts are already predicting that she could put up 25 points and 15 assists per game. Let that sink in. That's not just good, that's legendary. If Clark even comes close to those numbers, we could be looking at the first player in WNBA history to average a double-double in points and assists for a full season.
I think it's going to be a situation where maybe she's not the best player in the world straight away. Maybe she's not the best player in the world by game 10, but we can't forget last year that she just got better and better and better. If there's a scenario where, like, I don't think it's far-fetched to say Caitlin Clark could average 23 and 10 next year.
And when she does decide to score, it's going to be a nightmare for defenders. She's not just pulling up from 30 feet anymore. Now she's posting up smaller guards, backing them down, and either finishing inside or kicking it out to an open shooter. And when she drives, good luck stopping her. She's finishing through contact like never before.
The goal is not for Caitlin Clark to be, realistically shouldn't be for her, to be the best player in the world tomorrow. The goal should be to be the greatest player of all time. And to be the greatest of all time, you don't have to be the best player in the world next year.
But let's talk about fouls for a second. When Clark was skinnier, refs let defenders get away with a ton of contact. But now, those fouls are going to be way more obvious. That means she's going to the free throw line even more. And we all know Clark doesn't miss from the stripe. This could be a massive problem for teams trying to slow her down. But here's what's really scary. Clark is only in her second season. If she's making these kinds of leaps now, imagine what she'll look like in a few years. We're not just witnessing the rise of a superstar. We could be watching the next all-time great in the making.
The goal should be to fully cement yourself in that conversation next year, and then by year 3, make it so that the only argument against her being the best player in the world is A'ja Wilson herself. And then by year 4 or 5, when Juju starts to come into the league, when Juju comes in, when Hidalgo come in, people are like, oh, these are the comparisons. I mean, no one's going to have those comparisons if at that stage Caitlin Clark is coming off an MVP season and a title and is the best player in the league.
Clark isn't just changing her own game. She's setting a new standard for the WNBA. Every player in the league is taking notice. If you're not getting stronger, you're getting left behind. Clark's transformation is sending a clear message: adapt or watch from the sidelines. So what does this mean for the upcoming season? Clark's new strength and refined skills could lead to records falling left and right. This isn't just another season. It's shaping up to be one of the most historic years in WNBA history. Clark isn't here just to compete. She's here to dominate. So grab your popcorn, clear your schedule, and get ready. Caitlin Clark is about to put on a show that'll have us talking for years to come. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.